Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Jeffrey Epstein Show. I'm your host, Bobby Capucci, and this is Daily Drop number 75. So, you're not going to believe this, folks. This is a doozy. The surveillance video from Jeffrey Epstein's alleged first attempted act of suicide has gone missing. So there's no trace of it. Nobody knows where it is. Gone. Just up in smoke. I wonder what the excuse is going to be. I haven't read the article yet. Obviously, I always wait to read the articles with you here on the Daily Drops. And I'm very interested to see what this article says. How does the evidence, this video, of the most high-profile person you have in the whole entire federal system at this point, awaiting trial, how does this person have that footage disappear? I know Barr said it's a perfect storm of screw-ups, but this is more than a perfect storm of screw-up, folks. This is like, you would have to, the odds are insanely high that this could occur. How stupid do they think we are? Do they think we're really that stupid? Because we're not. It's absolutely positively hilarious to think that they think that we would believe their story at this point. Nobody believes them. Nobody believes their story. Nobody believes the official narrative. Not me, not you, nobody. And it's obvious nobody believes it from just looking at the reaction online to all of this stuff, right? It's very clear that nobody trusts the government at this point. Nobody on the right, nobody on the left. And why would anyone trust their narratives? Look how sloppy they are. Even if, let's say Jeffrey Epstein did kill himself. Even if he did kill himself, how could the federal government be so inept to leave this man in a vulnerable position where he could kill himself? How is that even possible? Incompetence? Maybe. But is it just those two guards should suffer then? Or should it go all the way to the very top? I'm of the mind that it should go all the way to the very top, because you can't scapegoat those guards. Of course, they got to get whatever the punishment is that fits their crime. But don't try and pin Jeffrey Epstein's suicide on them, or death or whatever on them. Sure, they were derelict in their duty, but really, it's the actual institution that failed. Why would you put guards that aren't even real prison guards watching this guy? Why isn't this guy in a cell with a reliable prison informant 24 hours a day? Somebody that's going to, keep an eye on things, and maybe he'll talk to the guy. Isn't that how it works in prison usually? I know they like to do that to people. They'll put somebody in a cell, and they'll put a cellmate who is a prison informant in with them, and then he'll cherry pick information from the person they're trying to get info from. It's very common. So why wouldn't they do that with Jeffrey Epstein? Why is he alone? Why is he in the MCC? There's just a whole lot of things that do not make sense. And now, folks, you throw this on top of it, and oh boy, talk about explosive. Absolutely, positively going to send the whole Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself talk right back into the mainstream, because it's almost like a bad made-for-TV movie. Almost like a bad made-for-TV movie at this point. We have a case of either absolutely incredibly good people that can find a way to infiltrate a prison and murder someone like Jeffrey Epstein while he's being guarded, or we have the most inept group of Keystone cops in the history of the world. And not just those two guards. I'm talking about everybody involved. I want everybody involved fired, done, no pension, none of it. Because this is absolutely unacceptable. And then, furthermore, whoever handled this surveillance, anybody who handled it, there has to be some kind of process where you sign out for it, right? Sign in for it, blah, blah, blah. Well, whoever handled it, everybody should be brought in and questioned, and then everybody should be fired. How do you not handle material that is that sensitive in a safe manner? How are you so, whatever. I don't care if this gets lost. How is that even possible? Or the other option, did somebody lose it on purpose? And if that's the case, well, who signed out? Who had it? What's the chain of custody? Who knows if we'll ever find out? But we're going to find out. We're going to talk about that in the first article today. And then our second article, it's from the Daily Mail, and it's just breaking a little while ago. It's an exclusive to the Daily Mail, And it's about a contractor who says that a contractor who she thinks she saw Virginia Roberts at the Zorro Ranch. So we're sticking with our Zorro Ranch theme that we've been on for the last couple of days here, and that it's all going to lead up to my eventual trip out there to New Mexico to go talk to some of the locals and try and get a feel for the area and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, I'm sure I'll never get access to the actual property itself, so I won't be, going. I'm sure I won't be going into the house, but I'm going to go down there. My goal is to talk to some of the local residents and try and find out a little bit more about who was coming and who was going, and hear for myself what some of these people have to say about the place, because it's always interesting to see what the actual people have to say, and then to see how the journalists have presented have presented their facts to you. A lot of times they'll leave things out that don't fit their narrative, et cetera, et cetera. So I just want to be thorough, and considering it's not that far of a trip from where I'm at, and, a good audio book and a few hours on the open road, nothing wrong with that, right? So it's definitely in January. This trip is going to occur. I'm going to head down there. So I'm going to keep the focus on the Zorro Ranch. As much as it comes up in the news, obviously, we'll keep following things that happen there, because I think it's a crucial part of this whole entire story. They've never even raided the place, folks. Why not? How is that even possible? What about all the evidence that was there? Who got rid of it? Who had it? Where is it now? Anybody have those answers? Or nah, we're just going to say to hell with it. Who cares? Doesn't matter. We don't need to know what happened there. It's not relevant to the case, I guess. I mean, I don't even, what are they doing? What are they doing? Or, again, could it be, did somebody tell them not to raid that place? Were they told not to go in there? It's very possible. Jeffrey Epstein was well connected in New Mexico. It's not talked about a lot, but he was well connected. He had made donations to the sheriff, donations to the governor, donations to senators of the state. This man was well connected and well received. Money talks, right? So there's a lot of shadow still over this whole Zorro Ranch area, and I want to get to the bottom of it. And I think it's going to be a very informative trip, not only when we actually physically go on the trip to Zorro Ranch, but while we're talking about it on the way leading up to that, as we're digging deeper into the things that happen in the news, because there are some local papers that are covering the story pretty well, like we saw earlier today. And there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of interesting things that are happening, especially in the Zorro Ranch. Especially when it comes out, we find out that it hasn't been raided. It makes me shake my head. And you add that with all the other so-called coincidences in this case. Oh, the surveillance footage is gone, blah, 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 blah. Come on. We're going to need a better story than that. You guys are going to have to come up with like some weapons of mass destruction level BS for us to buy into this stuff. Gulf of Tonkin type shit. Because nobody's believing your actual narrative this time around. I think this is the first time ever in my life that I've seen a consensus on one of these huge stories where people on the right and on the left they're fed up and sick and tired of all these people. Literally everybody in the government. It wouldn't matter to me if every single person lost their seat in the Senate and Congress, if the president was changed, every Supreme Court justice was changed. I could care less. They zero allegiance to any of those people at this point. They're all failures. They all have done nothing. None of them are making our lives better. None of them are standing up for these victims. None of them are standing up for any victims, in fact. So, what are they doing? They're all a bunch of do-nothings, not just the Democrats, Mr. Trump. None of you are doing anything of note. It's just the same old stuff every time around. You see the same old stuff with these politicians. It's rinse and repeat. It's like the NFL. They recycle coaches, and that's what's happening in American politics since Kennedy, at least. It's just absolutely ridiculous. They can never focus on what they need to really focus on. They're too busy messing around. And again, that's what we see here. All of these politicians that should be focusing on real life issues are focused on more power plays. And they don't really care about the people. If they cared about the people, if they cared about victims, they take a stand against stuff like this. They would make sure that somebody was, being held responsible, right? Is there no oversight of these people? Oh yeah, I forgot. Adam Schiff is in charge of oversight. He's a very, very honest man. he's a very honest man, and he should be taken seriously. Adam Schiff should certainly be taken seriously as a man who's going to uphold the truth and justice, right? Yeah, okay, sure. All right, folks. So if you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI@protonmail.com. All right, first, we're going to jump into the Daily Mail story first. I'm going to save the surveillance one for second because I know that's going to be a doozy, right? I know that's going to make us all just shake our heads as we listen and as I read, and we're all just going to say to ourselves, yeah, okay, what? Not shocked. Not shocked at this point. All right, so first article, Daily Mail, exclusive. I fear I saw Virginia Roberts inside Jeffrey Epstein's creepy New Mexico ranch. Contractor tells of chance encounter she believes with his most infamous victim as mansion's bizarre interior is revealed. All right, so there's a bunch of pictures in this article too, so make sure you go to the Daily Mail, you click on the link, and you follow and look at these pictures because there's a lot of weird stuff in this place. It looks like a home from like the 70s or something, the 60s. I honestly don't know anything about home decor. My girlfriend's in charge of all of that, but it just looks old to me, like an old Italian person's home or something, like my great grandparents' home would look like. It's just a weird looking place, and you would think that a guy that's so locked in and so so much of I don't know, a bigwig in society, I guess, in his circles, that he would have a better interior designer. Maybe he could get the guy from The Sopranos. Remember? Well, he's an interior designer. What? His house looked like shit, that episode of the Pine Barrens. Maybe you can get that guy to come do his interior design because it couldn't be any worse than what he has going on here. So make sure you guys check out those pictures in the link. All right. The incredible opulence of Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico ranch, including the disgraced financier's pedophile, extravagant Gothic furnishings, and gun collection, is revealed in never-before-seen photographs obtained exclusively by DailyMail.com and taken by a contractor who claims she saw alleged victim Virginia Roberts inside the mansion. Epstein, who died by suicide, allegedly, aged 66 in his New York jail cell in August while held on charges of child sex trafficking, is also seen in framed photos throughout the house, smiling while riding horses and grinning while talking to a male friend. Boy, isn't that Jeffy? That Jeffy's a hell of a guy, huh? He's smiling with friends, he rides horses, he's a hell of a guy. Come on, why would you believe Virginia Roberts? Bah. The photos were provided by a female contractor who was hired by Epstein to convert the voltage of numerous chandeliers and other light fixtures in the home, which Epstein had purchased from abroad. The woman, who wishes to stay anonymous, smart woman, told DailyMail.com she was employed by Epstein for 15 months beginning in late 2000 and said she believed she once saw a teenage Roberts inside one of the mansion's rooms. She said, one time that stood out to me was when Epstein and I talked about a chandelier he wanted custom made for a room. We had gone into that room, and that day there was a girl that was about 16. I'm pretty sure it was Virginia. She seemed like she didn't want to be there. Ugh, it's heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching to think what this poor girl went through. Roberts, 35, has accused Epstein of sexual abuse, claiming she was shuttled around the world and raped by men 3 times her age when she was around 17 years old. She provided photographs of herself during these trips, including several taken at Epstein's Zorro Ranch, around the same time the newly surfaced photos were taken. All right, and now the first photo is there's a little caption. The incredible opulence of Jeffrey Epstein's New Mexico ranch, including the disgraced financier's extravagant Gothic furnishings and gun collection, is revealed in never-before-seen photographs obtained exclusively by DailyMail.com. So it's blurbs of the actual story, but there's like wallpaper on the walls. It's like there's like this big brown gun case with several shotguns in it. There's a round table, a wooden table with a glass top. Some like seriously like Gothic candles on the walls, but there's like, I don't know if it looks like, I guess it's tiles, it's not wallpaper, but they almost look like almost looks like wallpaper. And there's some white French doors in this first picture. Just looks really old and vintage. And then the next picture after that is Virginia Roberts sitting next to an open trunk with some pictures. I can't really make out what the pictures are. But yeah, it's definitely Virginia Roberts sitting in front of this open trunk. Then the third picture is Virginia Roberts standing in the snow wearing a big red jacket. Looks like a pea coat, a big red pea coat perhaps. She's standing in the snow in front of the Zorro Ranch. There's a wooden sign holding up a Z, a metal Z or an aluminum Z by a small chain link fence, one on either side of it. And she's standing there in some sunglasses, smiling in this red shirt. And you can see the grounds of the Zorro Ranch behind her, the sprawling lands behind her. The next picture is Virginia Roberts crying. Then the picture after that is a picture of Jeffrey Epstein talking to Bill Clinton. Hold on, let me zoom in to double check to make sure. No, I don't know if that's Bill Clinton. I don't know who that is. Nope, that's not Bill Clinton. Definitely not Bill Clinton. I don't know. There's a picture on his nightstand, Jeffrey Epstein talking to somebody. Then there's a couple of pictures of Jeffrey Epstein riding horses. And then there's a lamp, and the body of the lamp is made of metal, it looks like, or aluminum perhaps. And it's shaped in the likeness of the head of a horse. And the top of it is aluminum as well. The shade is aluminum as well. Zoomed in pictures of Jeffrey Epstein on the horses. It zooms in and says Epstein talks with a friend. So no name for who that person is he's talking with in the picture. Then the next picture is Virginia Roberts. There's a horse and she's in that same red coat. She has the sunglasses off. The horse is saddled with a blue saddle and a red, white, and blue flag type blanket that the saddle's resting atop. And she has one arm raised in the air like a pose, a victory pose almost. The next picture is numbnuts Jeffrey Epstein, just in his stupid outfit, standing there in his dumb scarf with that stupid look on his face. All right, and back to the article. The contractor says she took the images during her time inside the home between 2000 and 2001. The contractor added to dailymail.com, "Now that I look back, I wish I understood what was happening. In retrospect, many things make much more sense looking back." Oh boy. It's amazing how things change, meaning when you are no longer 27 years old and more information becomes available. I've been questioning myself and have had many epiphanies about things said, done, and seen. I wish I had been less self-absorbed and more aware at the time. Well, you should come forward now. I know you want to remain anonymous, but if you have information that can bring justice to anybody and to make these people pay for their crimes, then I think that you have to come forward, right? I would. And I understand there's a lot of variables with dealing with these people, obviously. You end up coming forward, and then what? Then what happens? Epstein reportedly planned to use his Zorro Ranch as a base where women would be inseminated with his sperm and would give birth to his babies. Roberts has claimed Epstein asked her to be a surrogate when she was just 18, with his alleged procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell, also in on the plan. They said I would have to sign a contract relinquishing rights to the child and consenting to Jeffrey having as many relationships as he liked, said Roberts, who was told she would get a mansion in exchange for her services. She added, "It was a smack in the face." In photos provided to the FBI, Roberts is seen age 17 in snapshots reportedly taken by Epstein himself at the New Mexico ranch. One shows her horse riding and posing up in front of a museum treasure chest. Roberts said the first one is a museum in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We had gone sightseeing for the day. Epstein took this picture of me. I was approximately 17 at the time, judging from the looks of it. At the end of the day, we returned to Epstein's Zorro Ranch. The second picture is me on one of Epstein's horses on the ranch in New Mexico. The following two are from wintertime in New Mexico. And she's talking about the pictures that I was describing to you before. All right, and now we got more pictures. So there's a bed, and it looks like there's a marble floor. There's a wooden and black, looks like maybe oak and black finished nightstands on either side with matching lamps and two speakers hanging above them. There's a chair just in the view of the picture on the right hand side, and then two doors that open up into other rooms, and you can't really see what those are. So the next picture looks like a library. So it looks like a library or maybe a sitting office. There's a bunch of books. I've zoomed in on the books. I can't really see what they are. I'd be very interested to see what the titles are. I'm going to try and do a better job of zooming in on those and seeing what they are at some point. But it's like I said, it's like my great great grandfather or great great grandmother's sitting room. It looks just old, like antique-ish, like I don't know, not very opulent in my opinion. And the next picture is another view. I guess the library is full of grand antique furniture, including Gothic chandeliers and metallic leather chairs. But there's a ton of books, and like I said, I'm going to zoom in on some of those and see what I can find. And any of you out there, if when you go and check this article and you see these pictures, see if you could zoom in and find out what some of these titles are. I'm not great at that sort of stuff, so any help would be appreciated for sure. In the master bedroom, there's a giant TV, but I'm talking about like an old giant like box TV, like the first big screen TVs. I don't even, what is going on? I hope these pictures are from, I guess they're from back then. So I guess that was top notch back then. It's like a wooden trimmed giant TV. There's a chair, like it's a weird ass looking chair. It has like horns on it. Like, I don't even know what kind of horns, but like there's two horns and then like the seat part and then two more horns. Man, I don't know. Very weird. Very odd. Like I said, tell me what you folks think. Email me and let me know what you think when you look at it, because I really have zero idea. The next picture, there's a room. It's looks like a grand sitting room, perhaps. There's a big white fireplace. On top of the fireplace, there's a picture. I can't really tell what the picture is. There's a big, huge, like, very, like, gawky, awkward chandelier. I don't even know. It looks like something out of, like, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Then there is a lamp on a little wooden and black table, and it's shaped, it looks like it's the map of the world, but I can't really be sure. So here we go. There's a little caption of the picture. The financier's decor included half-naked statues holding up an immense fireplace, a coral armchair with exotic horns as armrests, and a master bedroom complete with a large leather headboard and leather-trimmed pillowcases and sheets. Then another picture of the study. There's a white couch, some old lamps, an ashtray on the table, so I guess they smoked in there. And then another picture, but this looks like a living room. There's a grand piano in the far corner, so a black table, two black sitting chairs, like two big black, almost throne chairs, a red and white love seat, then two red chairs on either side of that love seat, closer to the window. So yeah, when you guys come and look at these pictures, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's so weird. The newly surfaced images inside of Epstein's ranch show a palatial mansion decorated with marble busts, vast oil paintings, incredible chandeliers, I beg to differ about that, and a grand piano with a gun cabinet full of shotguns in the dining room. The financier, pedophile, decor included half-naked statues holding up an immense fireplace, a coral armchair with exotic horns as armrests, and a master bedroom complete with a large leather headboard and leather-trimmed pillowcases and sheets. The photographs also showed framed personal photos of Epstein riding a horse in a U.S. flag t-shirt and a picture of him wearing rubber boots and speaking with an unidentified man. Multiple women have claimed they were recruited and sexually abused by Epstein at the ranch, which included an airstrip, cowboy-themed village, antique railroad car, train tracks, an 8-person party shower in his main house, and an alleged club with a stripper's pole in the basement. An 8-person party shower? I don't know about you folks, but I don't have too many close friends that I'm taking a shower with, especially at a party. What does that even mean? These people are weird. Epstein allegedly hatched a plot to have 20 women at a time impregnated at the ranch to seed the human race with his DNA, according to a report in the New York Times. There is no evidence that he followed through on his plan. The next picture is just more of the same. Like we talked about, it's just another shot of the looks like the dining room perhaps. And then the next picture is the marble busts they were talking about. It's weird stuff, man. You'll see these pictures and you're going to be like, what the hell? Oh, and here's the party shower. What the I don't even know what to say. The party shower. All right. Let's have a party in my shower. That's not creepy or anything. DailyMail.com previously revealed Epstein used his 10,000-acre Zorro ranch as a playground for his VIP guests, bringing them to the secluded estate a few times a year and entertaining his entourage of 30 with four-wheelers and rumored illicit activities. See, that's why I got to get down there. Somebody knows something. Somebody worked there. Somebody saw something. You gotta get down there and sit at the local, diner or whatever, restaurant in Stanley and talk to some of the folks, because there's a lot going on here. Photos obtained by DailyMail.com show a staircase leading downstairs as a former contractor claims the convicted pedophile built a 1,000-square-foot underground strip club for entertaining his VIP guests with teenage girls. How many more sources have to come out and say this? I mean, if we're going to believe unnamed sources in the impeachment trial of Donald Trump, then we have to apply the same standard to this case, don't we? So if that's the case, then how can't the story be run by ABC? I thought that there was a problem because they can't corroborate the story. See what I'm talking about, folks? You see what they do? A source claims security cameras were secretly fitted in every room and recorded the behavior of the rich and famous, which explains why he and his fixer, Ghislaine Maxwell, apparently felt untouchable. Well, what do you know about that, folks? Who's been talking about that forever? We have. We have been talking about this forever. Look, we know that he wasn't doing this in a vacuum. He wasn't doing this just because he was a pervert. Oh, he was that, no doubt about it. But his whole entire scam was harnessed by whatever insert intelligence agency here. It was definitely one of them, though. Nobody else has the power or the moxie to pull off what he pulled off. Pictures from inside the main house show a party shower for up to 8 people with 4 shelves full of toiletries and oils. The indoor bathing area has a large pool, hot tub, and a frame shower behind it. One of the bedrooms has a sculpture of a life-size Jesus crucified on a golden cross, which covers most of one wall and is attached by chains to the crown molding. That's not creepy or anything. The library is full of grand antique furniture, including Gothic chandeliers and metallic leather chairs. What a creepy slime ball. I mean, really? So all these people would go to this house and they'd see this creepy stuff, this creepy decor, and they wouldn't think anything was up. It's just normal, right? Well, maybe if you acted the same way, it was normal. And sometimes I have to question myself and say, are these people all really that sick and depraved? Because, look, when you're named in court filings in cases like this, there's something wrong with you. You shouldn't even be associating with people like this. You have all the money in the world and you're still running around with Jeffrey Epstein. You're still looking to get favors from Jeffrey Epstein. Why? Why would you still be hanging out with him? Why would Prince Andrew still be hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein? Why would he fly across the ocean to break up with Jeffrey Epstein? Unless, of course, Jeffrey Epstein had something on him. And all the evidence points to Jeffrey Epstein having dossiers on everybody. All right, folks, so here is the second article of the night from the New York Post. This is just unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable to me. Surveillance footage taken during Epstein's suicide attempt missing. Surveillance footage recorded inside a lower Manhattan prison at the time of Jeffrey Epstein's first apparent suicide attempt has mysteriously gone missing, officials admitted Wednesday. Oh my gosh, this is like a horrible movie, like a bad made-for-TV movie. Oh, well, we lost the evidence. What do you mean you lost the evidence? Well, it's gone, lost. Johnny threw it out when he was getting rid of the old the Mexican food from last night. Yeah, no, that was on top of the trays. He wasn't paying attention. He fell asleep. Yeah, no, he fell asleep. That's right. We'll go with that excuse. He fell asleep. I mean, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Is the FBI that inept? They lost the footage? Oh, boy. The footage was recorded outside the millionaire pedophile cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center on July 23rd, when Epstein apparently tried to hang himself at the lockup. Epstein was sharing the cell with Nick Tartaglione, a hulking former cop in Westchester County accused of killing 4 people in a botched drug deal. So out of all the people you could put him with, you put a guy in there who was accused of killing 4 people in a botched drug deal. A guy from Westchester County, mind you. I wonder who else lives in Westchester County, folks. Interesting. So, a killer a guy who's accused of killing 4 people in a botched drug deal, put in with a guy, Jeffrey Epstein, who is A sex criminal? So don't you think a hardened criminal, Tartaglione, would get some stripes by, violating Jeffrey Epstein by whipping his ass? Why wouldn't you put that Mirsky guy in there that came in afterwards? Why isn't he in there with Jeffrey Epstein the whole time? Why isn't a certified prison informant in there with him, not only for his safety, but to report back to the institution about what Jeffrey Epstein's talking about? Is that not important? Or do we only do that to poor people to entrap them? Because they don't have great lawyers. Is that what we're doing? The two-tier justice system in this country is an absolute positive joke, folks. If you got the bread, it's all good. But if you don't got the bread, well, forget about it. Underneath the facility. And I'm talking about real bread. I'm talking about when you got to be playing on the level of these people to get off of these crimes. I'm not talking about some rich, some guy who owns a store or owns a brake shop or something. No. I'm talking about the 1% of the 1%. Those are the people that walk on shit like this. And it's all because these politicians take dirty, tainted money for them. And then, well, once you take the money, you know what happens then. Tartaglione's lawyer had requested that the footage be preserved, but prosecutors admitted in a court hearing Wednesday that the footage has gone missing, the lawyer Bruce Barkett said. I don't know the details of how it was lost or destroyed or why it wasn't retained when it should have been, Barkett said. Barkett has maintained Tartaglione came to Epstein's aid and tried to alert the guards when the perv tried to commit suicide in the cell. Why would Jeffrey Epstein try to kill himself with somebody else in the cell? Does that make any sense to anybody? Why would he do that? It just doesn't make any sense. We want to be sure that all the evidence is preserved to show that Nick behaved appropriately and even admirably that evening, Barkett said. We asked for all the video and photographic evidence to be preserved, specifically this surveillance video. Now it's gone, he added. Epstein was treated for neck injuries following the July 23rd incident inside the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Lower Manhattan, law enforcement officials have said. Epstein told his lawyers that Tartaglione inflicted the injuries that left him nearly unconscious in his cell last month, a source close to the convicted pedophile's case told the Post. Epstein successfully killed himself in the prison weeks later on August 10th. All right, come on. Who's buying this? Who's buying that Tartaglione didn't attack him? I mean, come on. This guy's a hardened murderer. If the allegations are correct, a hardened murderer. Do you think he'd have any qualms about attacking Jeffrey Epstein? And of course, he'd tell his lawyer, "Yeah, let's get that surveillance tapes." If he was paid to do it, then he knows that those surveillance tapes are gone, and he knows that he can't be implicated. So, come on, who are they kidding? This is a serious problem here, folks. This is a serious problem for the narrative. This is just another punch in the gut for the establishment, for the Justice Department. How dare they? How dare they think they're going to get away with this? It is absolutely unthinkable for them to think that they are going to get away with this. There's questions need to be answered. Who handled all of this? Who was in charge of the evidence? Who was in charge of the chain of custody? Where are the signatures? Why are those people being brought before committees? What's going on? Is there no oversight? Or are we letting the inmates run the asylum? The Justice Department's going to do investigations into themselves. We see how well that works out. We see how criminal and crooked the FBI is. With the report from the IG, the Inspector General, we see how crooked the FBI is. I don't care what you think about Trump. I couldn't care less what you think about Donald Trump. Okay? The fact that they lied to the FISA court and deceived the FISA court, and it was so critical that the FISA court has come back in a scathing manner and totally put them on blast in the media, it's unheard of. It's never happened before. And for anyone to think if the FBI would attempt to do that in such a high-profile case that they wouldn't do it against you, well, I got another thing to tell you, boy. They don't care about your rights either. They only care about the people that's in their circle, right? Their operatives, the CIA and the FBI. They don't care about the actual population. It's an absolute dumpster fire over there right now, folks. An absolute dumpster fire right now. How can we trust them to bring justice in this case? What it's going to take a very a hard prosecutor who doesn't get caught up in all of this nonsense and looks at this case and says, look, there's a lot of there. I'm going to chase it down. And there used to be a lot of prosecutors like that in the SDNY. These were the people that took down the mafia. These are the people that destroyed the mafia. Where have those agents gone? Are they all retired? Because the agents that are currently working have no backbone, obviously. Go after these people. What are you doing? How are these people still walking free? Yet, you have the evidence missing, you have all of these coincidences, and still no answers from the federal government. Chew on that for a little while, folks. Let that ruminate. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right, I will be back tomorrow, right back at it, do the morning update. We're going to do evolution of the Epstein Chronicles, back at that tomorrow. And, of course, the daily drop. And if anything breaks, we'll be reporting on that as well. Because as you all know, this is what we're up to right now. This is all I'm focused on. We're gonna pursue this case till the very, very end. Because, as you see, something new every day. And there's no way I could do this with a weekly show. There's no way I could get all of this in a 1 hour weekly show. So this format has just been not just but for me alone, for me following the case, this format has been just awesome. And eventually I'm going to go back and these will read like my notes. And perhaps I'll put together some sort of book about all of this, or who knows what the future holds. But we're going to keep following it. We're going to keep documenting things in real time every single day. Just be ready. Big things are happening in 2020. It's going to start off with that trip to New Mexico and branch out from there. All right, folks, if you'd like to contact me, you can do that at bobbycapucci@protonmail.com. That's BOBBYCAPUCCI at protonmail.com. If you'd like to support the show, you can click on the GoFundMe link in the description box.